Come seeker, come traveler, come all humankind, online or in person, whomever you love.
Come and be welcome at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Cheyenne. Here, we are building a community of refuge where all have equal worth and are invited into spiritual exploration as a foundation for hope, compassionate service, and action.
This is a place where questions are encouraged, a place with room for all of who you are.
This is a place full of works in progress, a place for being human together.
Welcome. It is good to be here.
Settle in and exhale. This is a time for community.
Good morning. I'm Brigitte Paul, and I'm a member of the board. I'm here to welcome you to this church where we are on a shared journey to find meaning, connection, and community together. If you're new to us, please fill out a welcome card and drop it in the offering basket there in front of the pews. Where you're sitting in front of you, they have a blue border. Okay, and then when we pass around baskets, you'll be able to drop that in. And we will be able to share all kinds of email information about activities that could help find what nourishes your spirit here. There are note cards in your pew for writing your joys and sorrows for the pastoral prayer. We pass around a basket during the offering, and the square one you can put your note card in. Write your name or remain anonymous. You can write "do not share" on the card if there's something you want held in care by our minister and pastoral team, but not spoken aloud. Many activities and events happen each week in this community, and here are a few upcoming. On the second and fourth Sundays, Faith Development class for 5 to 12-year-olds will meet downstairs following the time for all ages. Please make sure that after church today, you come hang out with us in the social hall. We have our community fair today, so we're going to be letting you know what activities happen at here, what you might want to be involved in, what might interest you. And I also represent a group called FIRE at the church, which is Friends of Immigrants Responding Ethically. And we've identified a new family. The email was sent out Friday. I'll tell you a little about them. Lorena came to America with her parents when she was 5, and UUCC has a history with her family that goes back many years. Lorena became a DACA recipient and completed college and has been a teacher in the community for several years. Every year, the DACA process is slower and slower, and Lorena finds herself currently unemployed because DACA paperwork has not been processed timely. Without that paperwork, she also can be picked up at any time because she's not officially documented without it at this time. Without that documentation, she can't drive. She also doesn't want to be a passenger in a car because that's been an issue for many people in our community already. So we are starting a fund drive on Friday. It'll go through, I think, May 10th is when we're going to have the end of it. And then we'll deliver all the food and all the items to the family. At the community fair, you can look at the items. We have bins for you to drop things off, and anything that you have is welcome, as we support families who are bearing a very heavy load to keep their families safe and to still do the things they need to do in our community. And I think Jim is up next.
Hello, I'm Jim Van Dyke. I'm a member of the Share the Plate Committee, and our Share the Plate member for April is Art Cheyenne, and so I'm introducing Desiree, and she'll talk to you about that.
Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you all again. I spoke here, 2 weeks ago or so. So I gave you kind of a quick overview of Art Cheyenne at that time. If you missed it, we are a local nonprofit arts agency. We've been around since 2012. We have our art center downtown on 15th Street in the Asher Building. So look right at the railroad. It's a really nice space to be in. We oversee several different arts programs and activities throughout the community, from public art. We have a mobile art gallery. If you're familiar with the Second Friday Art Walks, we facilitate those. A lot of different things. And since I spoke more about that last week, what I thought I'd talk about this time would be partnerships. And considering some of the work you do, it aligns very similarly to the work we do. And so I'd love to extend any opportunity we can to, it doesn't always have to be arts related. A lot of, I couch a lot of my community development work into the arts because that's an easy way to transcend differences and things that people are struggling with, which means we would be happy to come in and do activities, otherwise work with you all in whatever way that makes sense. So however leadership might see fit to do that, we can certainly have that conversation. In general, if you're seeking more arts activities and programming at our center, we do a lot of different workshops and things that are taking place. Most of it is online on our calendar just because there's so much happening. That's the most easy and quickest way for us to keep track of all that information. But other than that, we would be happy to partner with the UU however we can. So thank you so much for having me and for thinking of us this month. We appreciate it.
And as we begin our time for generosity, I'd also like to extend a special thank you to Erin and her string trio, who are offering us music today. Thank you ever so much.
And so it is that with deep gratitude, we give thanks for all that is good, for the gifts of talents and treasures, and of your cares given in community.
We come together to lament with, to celebrate with, and to care for one another in our community and in our world, because we want to be here with one another. Love, not only at the center, but also is the opening that invites us to lament, to celebrate, to care. Love invites us to honor our interdependence with all beings in the web of existence. It invites us to envision a world where all are free from exploitation, where the smallest to the largest are protected and nurtured with care and respect. Love invites us to revel in our uniqueness, using pluralism as a guide. Love invites us to recognize all beings as sacred and celebrated, to know that our differences are appreciated and valued, that all are equally sacred, regardless of culture, theology, or experience. Love invites us to counter all forms of oppression with justice, inviting us to dismantle racism and systemic oppression of all kinds, for all people are worthy of thriving. Love invites us to participate in individual and collective transformation, to cultivate change that we may grow spiritually and ethically, for we know that we are perfectly imperfect and never finished growing. Love invites us to connect by opening our hearts to generosity, to willingly and thoughtfully share our time, talent, and treasure. Our generosity connects us in relationships of interdependence and mutuality. And love invites us to create inclusive, equitable communities, and invites us to know in our hearts that all people are inherently worthy and have the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion. So, in all these ways, love invites us to worship together. And for our opening hymns, if you'll take in your teal hymnals and rise in body or in spirit, join us in singing hymn number 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. Some of our hymn leaders will help us in singing, and Josh will give us our recorded music today. We thank Foothills for the gift of sharing music with us. Bless you.
Heart is
Today's chalice lighting is Life is a Miracle by Thich Nhat Hanh. The Zen master, Li Chi, said, "The miracle is not to walk on burning charcoal, or in the thin air, or on the water. The miracle is just to walk on earth. You breathe in. You become aware of the fact that you are alive. You are alive and you are walking on this beautiful planet. The greatest of all miracles is to be alive."
And with that, let us breathe together. Let us remember that we are each of us alive in this moment. Take a moment to remember that you are here. You may wish to notice some part of your body or some part of this sanctuary. You might ground with your feet or readjust in your seat. Remember that we are alive and that we have chosen to be here today. This already is a miracle. And in this moment, we offer our prayers, our gratitudes, all of our acknowledgement that we are here and alive together. For with this spirit of life and love, we are a support for one another, a community of comfort for hard times, a place of celebration in joyful and happy moments. Here, we dwell together in the wonder and mystery. Today, we offer healing thoughts to Ben's friend Sherry, who had a brain tumor removed this week. May healing be swift and full. We offer peace to all those suffering, whether from mental illness, grief, or despair. We offer our love and our care. We offer our ongoing thoughts to Heather Allen, who is trying her best to remember that rest and comfort are possible in community, that she is held by all of us as she recovers from surgery. We also offer today room for joy. Meg is in the Legally Blonde musical, which is going well. It's a timely, poignant show worth seeing, and she is glad to be playing Elle's mom in this rendition. Jim Van Dyke is glad to be offering his gifts, teaching classes at the Senior Center on digital privacy and how to make paper flowers. And the Paul Scott family offers a joy that Meredith was elected as a sophomore senator to, I don't know this acronym. ASUW, thank you. So many congratulations to Meredith and to the family. She will certainly be guided by lessons learned in her UUCC community. And we as well offer thanks for health, for healing, for all those who struggle with physical health or mental health challenges. We offer as well our prayers which reach out to the wider world, for those in areas of conflict, for those where genocide is happening, for those who are affected by injustice, by oppression, by risks of violence to self or others. We offer not only our thoughts, but our hope that anyone being thus affected will reach out, for this is a community of care. We offer as well such love, such sadness for those youth among us whose friends have chosen not to continue living in these recent weeks. We hope that anyone who is feeling such pain will reach out. And now we take a moment for the silence of all those sorrows too tender to share, those joys as yet unspoken or unknown. And we offer our candles of community for individual, community, and world concerns. May there be peace, comfort, and community abundant to enfold us in these times. Amen, and blessed be. And today we conclude our time of prayer with a meditative hymn. We'll sing a few times through, seated. The words are in your order of service. Sanctuary is by Randy Scruggs and words by David Ruffin. I will sing once through, and you may join me on the repeats or as you feel comfortable. Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through with thanksgiving. We are a living sanctuary anew. Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through with thanksgiving. We are a living sanctuary anew. Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through with thanksgiving. We are a living sanctuary anew. And now, if the young or the young at heart would like to join us on the chancel at this time, we invite you to share in the leadership of speaking our covenant before our time for all ages. The words to our covenant may be found on the inside cover of your order of worship.
reached a solid middle space. Phew. Well, this is a story with a Hebrew name, which is called Shevarat HaKelim, and it's from the Kabbalah. But what that actually means is the time when the vessels shattered. And it's a story about a creation time. It says, once upon a time, at the very beginning of time, before anything else existed at all, there was something there already. There was love. And love was all there was and filled up everything that could become the universe. But with nothing and nobody to love but love. Love got bored, got lonely. There was no one to be in love with. And so one day, love decided to make something. First, love took a deep breath. And one even deeper. And even a little bit deeper, until love was so full up, so squished up, oh my goodness, that it made a hum in the entire sanctuary. It made a hum in all that was going to be. But love was so squished that it squeezed out all the things that were darkness. And the darkness then was all around, thick and shiny and black and beautiful. But now, love couldn't see anything. Because instead of the wonder of what could be being all love, it was all love and darkness. And so love started waving its arms and legs around, trying to swim through the dark and figure out where things were, because darkness was everywhere. And love said, I have to do something about this. And thought for a moment and tried to think of all the most wonderful, beautiful, warm thoughts ever. And once again, breathed and breathed and thought, I want the opposite of darkness. I want light. And kapoof, there was light all around. And it was beautiful. There was light and shadow, and they were all together making all kinds of beautiful stars and constellations and shooting stars and galaxies and nebula, all shooting through space so fast, as all those warm, wonderful, beautiful thoughts exploded outward in 10 different directions. And some of those beautiful thoughts shaped themselves into 10 big, glowing glass balls. Each ball was filled with a spinning lump of pure light and warmth, almost like a star. And some of the spare good thoughts couldn't quite fit in the glass and became dust and vapor and seeds and molecules and started over time, long, long periods of time, to form plants and animals and microbes and all sorts of interesting stuff. And love said, this is amazing. I'd better make something for the light to shine on. And waved its arms and kicked its legs and breathed. Poof. And scattered around where all of the glass balls had formed, another huge ball formed. This one had dirt and water, and then soon it had plants and animals, and love called this the earth. And the 10 balls of light started toward the earth to leave all those good and wonderful thoughts carefully spinning around it. And if they had made it here in one piece, the entire planet would have been exactly the way love wanted it, just perfect. But the glass balls, as it turned out, were very fragile.
containing such strong and powerful and wonderful good thoughts, so strongly attracted to the earth and all that was on it, they shattered and broke open into sparks. And all the good thoughts flew out and were scattered like sand and seeds and like stars. And instead of being 10 big clumps, they fell everywhere in tiny bits. And love went, "Oh, no! I'm too big. I'll never be able to find all these tiny, tiny sparks. So now I have to make one more thing." And so, are you guessing what that thing is?
Yes. Humans.
Yeah! Love waved its arms and kicked its feet. Poof! And with one more big breath, the breath of life came to earth again, and people appeared all over the earth. Hello! And they didn't know it yet, but they were created with one job: to be just the right size to find and hold tiny sparks of love and bring them together. And when they found all those tiny pieces of wonderful goodness, to bring them together into bigger and bigger clumps. And love thought, when enough clumps are there, perhaps I can recreate some of those big containers to hold them. And this time, I might set them down a little more carefully. So all of us, according to Kabbalah and some Jewish and Gnostic believers, have a job. That job is to help find love, to find good and wonderful things in the world and places of beauty and moments of wonder, and to share them with each other, to bring all those sparks of love together and recreate the big clumps of love. And that, I think, is some of the purpose of being here for each of us, and maybe the purpose of being together in places like churches and communities that help to share love. And now, I think some of you all are going to head downstairs and learn more about building communities and sharing love and finding beauty in the world with Rhonda. And I think that Meg has a candle to help you take the flame with you wherever you go. So as we send our children out, will you sing with the words printed on the worship insert? Children, remember as you go the lessons we have learned together, to seek the light of truth, to tend the fire of caring, always returning to the warmth of this community. Excuse me. I'm kicking the Wonder Box. So sorry.
Our sacred message today is A Part of the Whole by Marcus Aurelius. Constantly remind yourself, I am a member of the whole body of conscious things. If you think of yourself as a mere part, then love for mankind will not well up in your heart. You will look for some reward in every act of kindness and miss the boon which is the act itself is offering. Then all your work will be seen as a mere duty and not the very portal connecting you to the universe itself. People may block your path, but never let them obstruct you from the right action. Never let them destroy the feeling of charity you have toward them. You must be firm in both, steadfast in judgment and action, kind to those who do you harm. To lose your temper with them is no less a sign of weakness than one cowed into abandoning their proper course of action. In both cases, the post of duty has been deserted. As Marcus, I have Rome. As a human being, I have the universe. What brings benefit to these communities? That alone is what brings benefit to me. He is my favorite Roman Empire. Just saying. So our core reading, however, is called Rebirth by Betty Jean Reuters Ward. At age 20, I had the fortune of traveling the world. Through a study abroad program, I journeyed to awe-inspiring destinations like India, Cuba, and South Africa. In the process, I witnessed some extreme poverty, global wealth, power disparity, and the effects of war and militarism, all while assured of my safety and physical comfort. Throughout my voyage, I became aware of the bubble within which I had these cross-cultural experiences, and within which I made sense of my whole life. I experienced my travels as being smacked in the face by my own privilege, and it stung. And yet I tried to remain open to allow myself to be changed, to question or to let go of what I had known before, to submit myself to a transformative experience, and to answer whatever call the world offered me, hoping I could really listen. When I returned to the United States, I struggled with what felt like more than reverse culture shock. All around me, in my suburban home, in my congregation, at my liberal arts college, I saw how, now that my normal life was buffered from much of the world's suffering. Everything seemed the same, yet forever different. In the first few weeks, I went through the motions, mechanically carrying out administrative tasks by day, numbing my mind with television by night. That lifestyle kept me functioning through my grief and fear. Grief for the life I'd led, but could no longer reconcile with what I now knew about the world. Fear that I would not, in fact, be changed, but would instead resume my previous ignorant patterns and assumptions. I felt a great sense of urgency, a frantic need to reconfigure my life in accordance with my values. Soon after my first UUA General Assembly brought me back to life, I'd long had a deep love for Unitarian Universalism. Because of it, I had built many of my strongest, deepest friendships. I had been trained as a leader and claimed my voice through preaching on a pulpit or singing favorite hymns in the pews. But that week, I connected in a new way with Unitarian Universalist commitment to social justice, a commitment I now felt aching deep in my bones. No longer alone, rather literally surrounded by leaders and resources for justice making, I began to lay a new path. Throughout the following decade, I devoted myself personally and professionally to social justice, returning again and again to my faith, not only as a movement for justice, but as a sanctuary of spirit. Sometimes I needed connection with others. Other times I needed a safe place to fall apart. More than once, my quest for justice left me weary, jaded, frustrated, and lost. Yet in the cradle of religious community, knowing that I am one among many building a better world, I have been birthed and rebirthed.
Oh, good. Everyone will be able to hear me. Okay, cool. When I was a boy each week, on Sunday we would go to church and pay attention to the priest as he would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. And when I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time when Moses split the sea in two and Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad. Miracles don't happen still. Now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything, everything, everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick is anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, barely wet my fingertips, now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Read a questioning child's face and say it's not a testament. That'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come and say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush and singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now.
Peter Mayer, writer of that song, is a Unitarian Universalist. One of the things that we often have talked about in our Unitarian and Universalist heritage are the ways that we find church, that we find the holy, that we find what moves us, not in buildings or confined to one book or text, but again and again, everywhere that we choose to seek the holy. The Universalists, thinking of all people, even the grumpy ones, even the curmudgeons, even the grouches, containing those sparks of love and beauty and miracle. The Unitarians, moving through transcendentalism, finding out in nature, each turning leaf, each bud coming back in the spring, each worm and ant and millipede even, imbued with miraculous life and diversity and beauty. And people have been finding this through the ages. Not only Unitarians, not only Universalists, but Christians, Jewish people, Muslims, people from animistic religions, people from long ago and faraway places, the names of whose religions we do not even know, for they have ceased to exist. They too gathered in bodies and groups to seek the holy, meeting on mountaintops as many worshipers do even now, gathering at the tops of volcanoes and mountains in Guatemala, gathering at the Red Rocks Amphitheater on Easter morning to see the sunrise. They find their way out in nature, as we ourselves do at Vedavu each year. They find their way in to soup kitchens and homeless shelters, to Komea for dinner parties. For some of us, we find the best place to gather those sparks of beauty and wonder is outdoors, in stillness or the call of the birds, the hum of insects and the bubbling of a brook. Or we may find it in people, whether that's working at the VA or in therapy, seeing others so complex and interesting, or serving at Komea, or filling and emptying the giving table in our front hallway, or the boxes that fire brings to assist those in our community. We know that we are something larger when we seek interdependence, when we respond to those moments of miracle, those sparks that we find with love and care. It may not be that we are finding a spark and noticing it every day, but for many of us, we choose our workplaces because at some point we found a spark in some way of helping another. Maybe that's therapy, maybe that's sharing knowledge at the library, maybe that's working for regulations that protect health and the environment. Maybe it's constructing buildings and maintaining them so that they are safe and welcoming, offering food to hungry people, making sure that the VA offers care to our veterans. Any of a multitude of jobs and ways of working that help this world become a little more kind and compassionate, and give people tools to be a little more thoughtful and noticeable and knowledgeable. These are ways of finding and sharing sparks as well. Schleiermacher, a German theologian, was writing in the early 1800s, and he's German and ponderous, and I'm not going to quote him in full, but I'm going to tell you that what he was telling us about religion, even in this very rational Enlightenment time, that he was trying to say, what is religion? Why is religion? And what do we find? Even he, with all those compound German words, said ultimately, what religion is the best way we know how to say what we cannot say in words, to find the feelings that come through a transformative experience that is ineffable and unspeakable, and share it. To find others who also have found these moments, these little tiny sparks that have made us think, feel. There is awe, there is wonder, there is love in this world. And then to bring it into being with others and respond. Religion is how we come together and respond to the idea that the world contains something that is a greater miracle than any one of us could hope to understand alone. And so it is. For thousands of years, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even since before humans were humans, people, animals, many beings have been coming together to honor what is wondrous in the world. Even now we find and I've mentioned this before because it is very interesting to me. Monkeys and primates come together in many places to whoop when the sun comes up. We are hardwired to notice beauty and wonder and moments that are transformative, moments in which the world changes. And perhaps that is the foundation of church. And what that means is that church isn't just here. It's never just here or just this. Church can be your bowling club. Church can be your book group that you would never dream of missing because you are seen and loved with all of those little knobbly, hairy parts of you that aren't beautiful but are truly you. Church can be the places where there's a small group that have been having dinner together once or twice a year for 20 or 25 years, always making sure to catch up on each other's lives now and again. Church can be family, for some or not. Church can be chosen family. And the way you feel when you go to a pride celebration or a Latino cultural festival and say, these are my people. Church can be so many things. Perhaps it's Frontier Days. Perhaps it's running away from Frontier Days and going camping with a group who you really love. But for so many of us, it's finding that group with whom you can say the hard things, with whom you can puzzle out what are the things that spark joy. Or you can just have joy without thinking about it too hard. But all of us need a space to feel joy and love and wonder and connection. And we also need a space, and this is where this congregation and church comes back into it. We need a space to help us narrate that back into a larger story. For we are all part of a story that does not begin when we are born or end when we die. We are all part of a larger human story of survival and love, of helping one another, of tenacity, and of hope. Think for a moment of your own journey. How did you get to Wyoming, to this place? Through parents or grandparents, through mentors or friends? Who came before you? Who prepared the land? Who built the house in which you live? We are all part of something greater and more networked than we think of most days. And it's easier to live with our values, to be generous and compassionate and thoughtful and kind when we have others with whom we can be reminded that we are part of each other. When we disconnect, when we put up barriers or realize we have been putting up barriers between ourselves and the rest of the world, we miss out on so much. We miss out on those sparking moments when we choose comfort or isolation rather than putting ourselves out into the world and seeing what happens. And so, today and every day, I invite you to recommit to being a part of the church. Not just showing up in this building on a Sunday, not just thinking this is a pleasant hour, but going to community fair and seeing what one another are doing in the world, to having deep conversations and understanding why it is that each of you have sought this space, what it is that each of you value in community, and then finding one way in which in this coming year you are going to be a part of making sure that there are spaces of love and wonder and awe and care in this community, in this church, that there be church for all people in the years to come. May it be so, for you are the church. So when you are ready, rise in body or in spirit. As our hymn leaders come up, we'll turn in our teal hymnals to hymn 1028, A Fire of Commitment. I'm going to just let those of you who do read music know. This one's in 5/4, and it looks scary, but it isn't if you listen instead of looking at the page too hard. Josh will help us with that part. He's got music.
From the light of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of our living brings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
Please remain standing as we extinguish our chalice flame and speak together the words in our order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of commitment, or the fire of
commitment.
Either way.
These
Or we carry within our hearts until we are together again.
And so, today and every day, may you be a part of finding what is beautiful in this world, of being what is beautiful in this world. For the work that you do is part of the holy work of maintaining this planet, repairing the world, making all of what is a little better. May it be so, and blessed be. I know that we've before. Hey, Elizabeth.